Hello and welcome to Talking About. I am John Griffith, one of your hosts, and this is...
Hey, you almost forgot there for a minute, didn't you? And I'm JC Alvarez. Welcome to Talking About.
And we've got a very, very special guest, friend to both of us.
He's very special. Isn't he special?
Yes.
Special looking. Mr. Will Clark.
Hello.
Welcome.
I'm just still reeling over the special remark.
Well, you're very special.
Yes.
Not like short bus special.
Oh, okay. Well,
Well, we just want to make that clear.
it's good to see you boys again.
Nice to see you. Thanks for coming in, for joining us.
I'm happy to be here.
Now, you got a lot of stuff coming up soon.
Yeah, well, in addition to my weekly bingo game, which I'll talk to you in a moment, I'm actually emceeing the Mr. Rawhide contest at the Rawhide.
I'm so excited.
Some days you feel like you have to kind of clarify that the Mr. Rawhide
Yes.
contest is actually at the Rawhide.
Yes. Which is down in Chelsea.
It's down in
for
Chelsea,
our
like
viewers.
what, around 20th and 8th Avenue?
believe
something
so.
Yeah,
like
it's
that?
eighth. Yeah, they're about.
It's kind of like, what I like about the Rawhide is it's sort of like the last sort of grungy, cruisy, sexy pickup bar.
I am so there.
Yeah.
Okay, I've never been there.
You've never been to the
Never been there.
Rawhide? They have go-go boys every night of the week.
Every night of the week.
I don't know, there's a sign on the side of the building.
Yeah.
But no, I'm emceeing the contest on the 13th because apparently a lot of the bars I think are reviving the whole sort of Mr. Fill in the blank, the Mr. Bar contest kind of thing.
It's been a long time since we've had sort of like a
whole
Mr.
round of
something.
that. Yeah. I mean, I know Wolf is doing that over at V-Bar and Rawhide, and I've heard a couple other ones. So
Mr. Wolf doesn't sound as strong as Mr. Rawhide.
Yeah, it doesn't sound as commanding, does it?
It doesn't sound like I would date Mr. Rawhide.
Yeah.
Just give my dog something to do.
Meanwhile, your dog would be Mr. Wolf. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Yeah, Mr. Wolf is not as threatening to me as Mr. Rawhide.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Wolf can chew on Mr. Rawhide.
Well, yeah,
you go.
exactly. Oh, I want to see that movie.
Anyway, so we're thinking about doing a Mr. Porno Bingo.
That'd be
Not because
fun.
we really care all that much about the bar competitions, but just because it would be funny and we could do something
And you don't
like
want
some
to be
sort of
left out.
satire. What was
Which
that?
is what your party that you host, Porno Bingo,
Yeah,
which
Porno
is,
Bingo.
which is concurrent,
Every Wednesday night from 8 to 10, we're at Pieces. We're doing
which is down in Christopher Street.
down at
right?
8 Christopher Street, near 6th Avenue, right off the 1, off Sheridan Square. I'm sorry, I'm going through my whole thing. Because I have people ask me, where is it? It's like, it's on Christopher Street. Well,
You'd
where
be
on
surprised
Christopher
how many
Street?
people
It's 4
aren't
blocks.
familiar with that
You know,
area.
There's not a lot of Christopher Street. It's not like, somewhere on 5th Avenue.
And that's
It's
Right.
and that's a historic area.
Yeah, it is
and so many
right.
people just don't know a lot of the neighborhood bars there.
It's
in that.
it's kind of speaks to where we are as a community in New York City. I mean, we've kind of migrated to Midtown, and then that kind of got boring. People weren't really excited about going any further up.
Right.
With the
Yeah.
bars and everything, because they've all kind of located. But it seems to be evenly distributed now: Craster Street, Chelsea, and Midtown. And there seems to be a resurgence of the.
I think so, yeah.
I want to say Castro Street bars because it makes me. Christopher Street just makes me think of Castro Street. Not as many strollers, but.
Hey,
They're
they're out there though.
But there seems to be a resurgence in the duplex and
Sure.
in Stonewall and Monster and Pieces and.
People actually meeting face to face.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the other. That was one of the problems with the bar business the last 10, 15 years is that the internet, not only internet, but meth use, which sort of keeps people online at home by themselves, doing whatever they're doing and hooking up.
So
that
no need to
way.
socialize.
So no need to socialize, no need to go out to a bar, and certainly if you're out at a bar, you're not drinking alcohol, you're just maybe sipping a water, while you're, jittery and looking around. And as a performer in the bars in the late 90s and early aughts, I guess
Because it really,
the
really.
terrible name
The
that
O's.
nobody can really decide on. Bar owners were really like under pressure because they were working, because it's that twin problem of, well, how do you bring enough talent? How do you afford to bring the talent in if people aren't coming? And do you just kind of lay out the money and hope that people come? And if they don't, well, you're kind of screwed.
And
So-
Porno Bingo certainly is something that you do. It's got a twofold sort of thing. Not only is it entertaining, but it also is a charity event, isn't it?
Yeah, actually every week is a fundraising event. We've been doing this for almost 5 years now. We started in February 2005 at this neighborhood bar in Midtown, which is now a Dunkin' Donuts.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't frequent Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, I don't know. But we were at this little neighborhood bar, and it was great. I had just been doing a show at the View Bar for a year. I think when I met you,
Yes,
I was
absolutely,
at the View Bar.
Yeah,
That's
I was
right.
one of your guests.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's
Yes.
right. I remember that.
How the tables have turned.
Yeah, and then I started. So when that gig ended, and I used that nicely. Used it too nicely.
Now.
I'm being nice. I'm not saying anything.
Porno bingo.
Anyway, so we started Porno Bingo, and every week is a fundraiser. And one of the things that we did at the Ninth Avenue Bistro, because apparently a lot of the patrons used to go to bingo at another bar in the area, which had since closed. And they had been doing bingo, and apparently the proprietor of the establishment would say that the money would go to charity, and it would really
Not.
not at all.
Well, it was a charity of sorts.
It was a charity, but it was a whole.
It was
Yeah, it
another
wasn't
kind
exactly
of
going to a
charity.
not-for-profit. So it was really kind of interesting. So I said, well, what can we do to show people that the money that we're raising is actually for the charity? It's like, well, first of all, we can bring the charity in, because then they're selling the bingo cards and they're taking the money away. And then second, we'll have them write a letter to the bar, and the bar decided that they were going to start putting all the letters in frames and putting them on the back wall.
That's
and,
great. That's
and
really-
after
yeah, that's
like
very cool.
6 months or a year, you get, because
Yeah.
not every charity manages to send one in, because everybody's busy. But you have, after a year, half a year, you have about 20 or 30 of these on the wall, and you start to realize what you're sort of doing, and
It makes you part of something.
yeah, and it really, to have that in the back, we had the bar was like this long, angular bar, narrow bar, and then you go in up the little stairs, and there'd be like a pool room. And so on two walls, there were sort of covering that, like sort of like Sardi's, it was kind of like that kind of feeling. And when we ended 3.5 years, they had taken a bunch down and put them away.
Put only the good ones.
Because they
only
wanted
the
to keep
Julia
it
Roberts ones
Well, they didn't
on.
want to have
Yeah.
stuff from 2 years before. They were trying to
Keep it
cycle
current.
them.
You're trying to
Yeah,
keep it current.
And for tax purposes.
So I got to keep a bunch of the letters when we left. I think I have about 50 of them, actually. The bartender we worked with kept a bunch, and I took a bunch.
really great.
So it's just kind of like this cool thing. And Pieces picked us up a couple weeks after that, and because it's a little bit bigger of a space, and we have, we actually have microphones and a stage and lights now. We're actually sort of like a real show.
And you actually have celebrities or local celebrities or people in the community come in and do the
yeah.
Ball polling?
Yeah,
ball
the
polling.
calling, the numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did that over at the.
I like
at-
ball polling better.
Yeah, ball. Depends on how raunchy you want to get.
the
to.
dipping.
The dipping, the
ball,
double dipping.
ball dipping.
Yeah, we've had actually guests all along the run. We've had, we basically got whoever we could get at the Ninth Avenue Bistro. Because, you're starting out an event, you just sort of like, okay, we'll just, come on in. And now that we're at Pieces, we've had, and we've been around for now 4 or 5 years. We've got some really great guests coming up, especially this January is going to be, I hate to sound so hypey, but it's going to be like our biggest month yet.
That's great. That's fantastic.
No, we're really going to have a big month. And I think actually all of our guests will show up, because we tried this earlier this year with an Oscar-nominated screenwriter.
Oh my gosh.
Should I say his name? Should I be bitchy? I won't be bitchy. Everybody knows who it is. Who said he was going to come and
did not show.
and did not show.
I could not make it. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
well-
I know, right?
Was that about?
Ironically, he had a sex tape that came out the week before, so
Right.
you were like, well, you could have peddled that on the show and promoted it, and it's the prime audience for that. So that didn't work.
But the
out
guests
too good.
do run the spectrum of.
Yeah, we have a very, very wide range of people that we've actually had Jim J. Bullock on the show.
Okay.
You know Jim?
Very nice, yeah.
Jim was doing a show in town and stopped by and kind of unannounced, kind of announced, quasi-announced. Because they said we're on our way, and you're like, okay, are they really coming or not? Because I don't want to like announce it and then him not show up, because that
Right.
would suck.
Make you look like an ass.
Yeah, it was just So he showed up and he called around, and that was fun. We've done some hosting MC things together a couple times, so I really just think the world of him. And we have drag queens. We have had some truly tragic but fabulous, I have to say that, drag queens, and some like the peppermints of the city, who are just
That's
I'm so
fantastic.
excited for
And
Peppermint.
it's good.
She's
and
really
it's a great cause, and it's a great night out. You know,
Yeah,
it's
everybody has a
something
great
to do.
time. That's the
Yeah.
thing is that we raise a lot of money and everybody enjoys donating their time to, you know, call some numbers and be goofy and drink a lot and just chat on the microphone and,
Yeah.
you know, and draw their fans in and all that thing and have a great little party night. And in January, we've got Jack McEnroth from Project Runway.
We know Jack.
I know you know Jack, and I'm very excited about having him. That's on January 13th. We also have Michael Brandon. Do you know Michael Brandon?
The name is very familiar.
Names are familiar. Well, Michael Brandon has got this just fantastic, twisted story where he did some porn in the early 90s and then got busted for drugs and then like was in jail for a while and then came out and did community service and then like between 2000 and like 2007 like rocketed to the top of the gay porn industry and like co-owned a studio and like did hundreds of movies and won every major award you could win like twice or three times, you know, like Performer of the Year, you know, and this and this and then last year had a really bad return to
Relapse?
Yeah, really, really bad relapse. And so much so that he was under house arrest for a while. And this is like his second appearance outside of, you know, being released from all of that. So Michael said that, I wanted to do your show a few months ago, but I thought I'd just be depressing. So now I'm in a better mood and I'm really happy to do your show. So he's coming to town. He's doing us on Wednesday and then he's doing some other events over the weekend of
Well, that's great.
in mid-January, MLK weekend. So we've got that. We've got Robin Camille.
Sounds familiar.
You know Robin? She's a
Yeah,
comedian.
yeah,
She's
yeah.
done some stuff with the Duplex and around.
Yeah.
And we have porn star Robert Van Dam. He's this big sort of big,
Scary guy.
beefy kind of.
Maybe he'll be Mr. Rawhide.
Maybe he'll be Mr. Raw. Maybe you can. He's actually lives in Florida, but maybe he can stay around a couple
Maybe he
extra
can
weeks.
stay around and be part of Mr. Rawhide.
Be Mr. Raw. That's right.
That's fantastic. So we got Porno Bingo going on every Wednesday at Pieces.
Absolutely.
What time does that start?
It's 8 to 10.
8 to 10. Wow.
And you know, we have just in November, just a few weeks ago, we reached a big fundraising goal. We had reached $100,000 of fundraising. It had taken us 4.5 years through Dollar Bingo, but you know, we made it.
That is spectacular.
We've been doing really well at Pieces, and people have been very generous, and we're aiming for the $200,000 mark. I don't know if I'll still be around with the show because God only knows how long that will take. But it's what's really amazing. It's a testament to the charities and people's desire to give. That even in this really terrible economy,
Right.
people have come out and and throw a 20 or a 10 or a 5.
Well, it's a
or
fun,
whatever.
Well, it's a lot of
way to
fun.
give. Yeah, it's a fun
It's
way
a
to
lot of
give,
fun.
yeah.
Yeah, and they get prizes. They get adult video movies.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness, I know. Can
Well,
we say that?
we've-
Can we say that?
Yes, we can.
Yes, you
Okay,
can.
nice.
We've donated prizes once
Yes.
or twice.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Yes, of course.
absolutely.
And Dameron Guides and ID Lube and theater tickets to off-Broadway shows, a bunch of different.
It's like a whole date night.
It is like you could
You
totally.
make like a little date night kit.
Oh, there's been some times when you're giving away microwave popcorn,
Yeah,
and
that's a look inside your head there.
I'm just making suggestions.
I'll take the suggestion. Date night for JC, theater, and porn.
Oh boy. Oh, sad. Very sad case.
Sad.
That's very sad. Yes. So that sounds fantastic.
Yeah,
it's nice to see that you've been busy.
It's very busy. You know, you think, oh, this takes nothing to do. Well, like when you look at the events, like all you have to do is call a couple of people and put a poster together. Like, how hard can that be? 40
We know.
hours later, every week,
Yeah.
and you know. So, it's a full-time job. I really love it. I really love it. It's I mean, it's hard to do now. My show is weekly. Yours is monthly.
We air weekly, but we shoot monthly.
Got it. So doing a weekly show is very difficult.
Absolutely.
And you know, like you never have a week off. There's never any time to take off. So it's one of those things when you have 52 events a year and it really are 52 separate events with the full charity and a couple guests and prizes and all the promotion that goes into that. When you're really talking about 52 events, you don't have a lot of time to spend on any one week. So what's really been nice is that our charities, our stars, have a couple people who help out with different things. everybody kind of lion shares the duties
Yeah,
at some point
yeah,
or another
yeah.
to promote it, especially as the
Absolutely,
biggest
yeah.
problem.
Well, the charity is the one who benefits from it.
And the charity
so
benefits
They
from
want to
it,
get the
so-
word out as much as possible.
Yeah, yeah, and we really encourage the charities to, maybe Porno Bingo is not the event for everybody that may be in your donor base, but there's a segment that is certainly going to have come out to have fun with drag queens and porn stars
Right.
and win gay porn, and when the charity really does that and we get a full house, they walk away with $1,000 or more. Or, it's.
That they didn't even expect, because they probably
They didn't
aren't-
expect because
yeah,
they
they
don't.
probably
Really,
aren't
it's
expecting it.
not. We're not printing up posters. We're not incurring any expenses here. We're a zero cost event. So, whatever they raise during the evening, they take home and they
Brilliant.
keep, and it's it's gravy.
So if people want to know about the lineup for Porno Bingo, is there a website they can go to?
Well, you can do a couple of different things. You can go to my website, which is willclarkworld.com. It's sort of a blog, and it gives on the right side. There's always like a little banner that says who the next guests.
Yes,
and the
not
next
safe
date.
for work.
Sorry.
Not safe for work.
Well, it depends on where you work.
Just so that people.
There are some X-rated photos on this site occasionally.
Oh, my goodness.
So I would say that your best bet is to not open it at work, but it's not 100% an adult site. In fact, I'd say it's about a quarter.
Okay.
Would you say that that's fair? You've seen
Yeah.
the
Sure, I'll
site.
pay a
I've seen the
quarter for
site.
that.
I was. It's a free site. Oh my God.
I'm just saying.
we can
Tommy's
smack him
mother's
later.
site, or they can email me at willclarkworld@gmail,
Okay.
and I'll put you on the list. And I have like a little newsletter that I just send out a reminder
Fantastic.
every Tuesday night to people.
And what about Mr. Rawhide? Do you know how that's going to happen?
I
Can
have
anyone
no
apply
idea.
for that?
I think anyone can apply for
Okay,
that. I
so
think
they
you
can
don't
check that out
you
through
don't have to-
Rawhide?
You don't have to have a rawhide. You
Oh,
just-
okay. That's good. That's good, because my dog goes through too many of those.
But yeah, I think you can just go to. There's a blog actually, and I don't know the address of it, but it's linked off of the Will Clark World site.
Awesome.
It's for Mr. Rawhide, and it's for the contest, and the fellow who's putting the contest together is a real sharp guy, and you can always tell when somebody's really on the ball, and this guy's really on the ball, and I'm really excited about the contest for that reason. Because there's somebody who's putting
It's
it
a
together.
huge responsibility, Mr. Rawhide.
But like putting together the contest is a huge responsibility.
I'm sure it
It's
is,
a
yeah.
huge thing.
Yeah.
Well, this is because I was competing in some of these bar contests and the leather titles in the late '90s, and I have to say that there was a time, and perhaps especially in my own life, where you take them really, really seriously.
Sure, yeah, yeah.
And
It's a whole culture.
yeah, it is a little bit of a whole culture, and you have to, I think, at one point realize that it was intended to be fun, and
Right.
that's really the whole
Right.
point of it. It's like
Right.
you're the good time Charlie that
Right.
we're electing basically to come out and show us a good time and throw some good parties, and people kind of forget that, and I certainly did when I had a title.
Like if you fall and trip on stage like J-Lo did at the end, don't be angry.
Don't be angry.
Don't be
Just-
angry.
Just
It's
roll
for
with
fun.
it. It's all for fun. We like seeing everything
Yeah,
bounce, even me.
yeah,
Exactly. 6.
Exactly. So that's really fantastic. We're so happy you got so much going on. Porno Bingo every Wednesday,
Every Wednesday night.
and Mr. Rawhide coming up in March.
Yeah, March 13th, I think is it. Yeah.
Fantastic.
What inspired you to devote so much time toward the charity work?
It's really been like a very organic thing. I didn't make a conscious decision of like, I must do this now. It's just something that I've always done. When I was growing up in Wisconsin, I was the kid that was knocking on your door selling the potholders or the world's finest chocolate. Or I was the kid who was like, well, you sign, I'm doing a dance-a-thon, I'm doing a skate-a-thon, all those kinds of things. I was that kid in the neighborhood. And on through into high school, my dad passed away of cancer. Around the same time, I was actually in a comedy improv troupe in high school, and we called ourselves the Radioactive Actors and Actresses. God, I haven't said that in like 30 years out loud. And we thought that it would be great that if we donated, what people paid to come and see us to a charity. And since my dad had just died of cancer, we thought, the American Cancer Society would be great. And so we did like 3 shows over a couple of years, and that kind of, we just kind of donated the money. I mean, I can't imagine that whatever we raked in was more than like $100, you know, but, you know, it was something we felt that we were doing something great. And then, you know, when I was in college, I was actually a camp counselor for a religious camp down in Texas for some summers. And that was really a lot of fun. And it really taught me the value of service and of giving and making yourself available. This is going to sound a little very avatar-y, but making yourself available to the world and putting yourself out into it. And, you know, as AIDS became a thing that I certainly, as a gay man, not knowing I was gay until 86, I think it was 85, 86 is when I came out. And you have this realization that this is going on, and oh, you're part of this group that is either or feels like they're being targeted, and by the way, there's bunches of people in other places that are, you know, dying at, you know, and have died in the last X number of years.
Yeah.
So I find it's, you know, sort of only one's responsibility to do what you can and pull your weight. And I mean, certainly, given my age, I was a little late to the. I didn't have friends who were dying because I was 22 in '86. So, you know, like it wasn't in my sphere at all. But I was aware of it, and still, I think it was something to be aware, you know, to do something. So when I actually moved to Chicago to go to graduate school at one point, and started working with the Stop AIDS Project there, doing peer education for HIV. This was this cool little organization in Chicago. I don't think it exists anymore, but it was great peer education where they go out to the bars and the clubs and they solicit people to come to a meeting. You know, it was all very, you know, like creepy culty kind of feel to it, but it was great because you get like 10 to 15 guys in a room, somebody's house that they would donate the space, and a couple facilitators, and you guide the group through like a 3-hour discussion about transmission and attitudes about being gay and attitudes about having sex at all, and I'm trying to find, you know, new ways of talking about you know, condom use and all that, and you know, sort of all that kind of language that really is difficult for people, you know,
especially amongst the youth. Like, you know, it's certainly something that should be reinstated today, and or at least reinstated in schools, so that kids get the information they're supposed to get to keep themselves protected.
Absolutely. So after a couple of years of that and some severe burnout of that, because you do that every month for you know, for 2 years, and it's like
it weighs heavy.
Yeah, I think the thing that turned the tide for me was one of my last meetings where. It was really great. It was like a group of like 15 to 20 guys. It was really fantastic. I thought this is a success. And you know, we're all having this great time sharing, and everybody's talking. And there's these 2 guys who are sitting next to each other who literally couldn't be any closer on top of each other, and are referring to, I've done this with him, and he's done this with me, and you know, like, and they're clearly together. And you know, I said something like, well, you know, when you're gay and da 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 da, and they were like, we're not gay. I'm like, what? And they said, oh, no, we just have sex with each other. We're not gay.
Oh.
And
interesting.
I didn't really know what to do with that. And I thought I felt a little out of my depth at that point, you know, and you think, God, that's why you have the co-facilitator to like work your way out of that really quickly.
You look at the manual really quickly.
Excuse me while I flip open the book.
Oh, hold on one second. We don't know what this is about.
I have no idea who you people are because you're scary.
Oh, there's a picture of them right here.
Oh, you look scary. Here's your picture. So anyway, yeah, and it wasn't really until I joined the porn industry and a few years later that like 2 or 3 years later, and I'd also had, I think also what kind of ended my peer education thing was that actually my best friend from San Francisco had passed away of AIDS, and he was the first person that I really was really close to, and I'd seen him like a couple weeks before, and it was something that I will never ever forget, and it made a real impact on me. And so a few years later, when I was in the porn industry, and I started volunteering for different AIDS organizations that were supporting the porn industry. They used to have this award show that is no longer existed, excuse me. And they wanted to make it a fundraiser, and they took it around to all the different charities in LA, and they said, "So will you take this? Will you you benefit?" And they're all like, "No, we won't. We won't take your money." But this organization, Aid for AIDS, took their money, and I thought they were so great that I started volunteering a little bit for them, and then I started being like an MC for them, and then I started raising money for them, and then I started creating events for them, and then it just kind of snowballed, and I found that it was really fun. Like when I would go off and do a strip gig in like Atlanta, for example, I would say, well, okay, I'll come in on Friday, I'll do your meet and greet, Saturday night I'll do the show, and then I'll stay on Sunday and I'll do a free event for you if it's a fundraiser. I'll bring some DVDs and we'll raffle them off for whatever organization in town, as long as there's somebody there from the organization, so we make sure the money gets to them. And you'd be surprised I was actually surprised how many bars didn't go for it, who were just like, we're not interested, it's too much work. And I was actually really pleasantly surprised by how many bars did go for it and were really into it, and would make it this extra beer busty kind of fundraisery kind of thing. And I thought, well, they're getting a little extra bang for their buck. I'm doing a whole thing on Sunday for them, and they really appreciate it. Some of the bars really appreciate it, and this is especially at that time when they're in the late '90s, when they're like, oh my God, how do we compete with the internet? How do we get people to value coming back out to the bars and meeting face to face?
Right, and now you're doing it with Porno Bingo.
And now we're doing it with Porno Bingo.
And I want to just bring people back to your website, which is willclarkworld.com.
willclarkworld.com. I'm all
and
tongue-tied.
People can find all the information they need there and more.
And more.
And more.
Than you'd ever need.
You'll get quite an eyeful.
Not of me, by the way, just in case you wanted to know.
But I do want to thank you for sitting with us.
Thank you for your
here.
fundraising efforts and just doing what you do.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And I want to thank you for watching. You've been watching Talking About, www.talkingabout.info. We're all over the place. Find us on iTunes. I'm John Griffith.
I'm JC Alvarez.
Have a good night.